The thing about passion is that passion will lead you in the wrong direction. If it's not tied to a purpose, you'll end up alone in the desert, chasing a piece of trash. Lost a lot of my passion for music. I discovered how toxic the industry is, how hard it is to be a girl, how much you're supposed to be okay with giving yourself away and exploiting yourself. I just want to bring music back to the time where it felt really good and it made sense. I think the purpose I've discovered is that I am meant to be a beacon of light for girls who have given up on their dreams and provide them with an actual physical tool to do that. So I've been diagnosed ADHD and OCD, emphasis big on the obsessive, and I have suffered from depression my entire life. The good news about that is that you can use those obsessive thoughts to do amazing things.
Believe in the vision, believe in the crazy thoughts that you get. You can't figure anything out completely by yourself, and why would you want to when there's already so much information and energy floating around there that's just waiting to help you?
Put my head down, shuffle my feet. You'll never get the best of me.
Meet Scarlet Parke, Grammy-featured producer, audio engineer, singer-songwriter, and an entrepreneurial visionary who's on a mission to transform the way that women make music. After years of enduring exploitation and creative suffocation in a heavily male-dominated industry, Scarlett made a radical choice. Step away from the traditional and often painful path many female artists face, and re-emerge with a new approach designed to shake things up. Her story is a masterclass in turning pain into purpose, transforming her deepest struggles, family trauma, OCD and ADHD, career instability, and even homelessness into fuel for a global movement that can't be stopped. Today, she's the proud founder of the Dream Girl Producer Bag, a portable music studio that fits under an airplane seat, empowering women across the globe to become their own producers and engineers from anywhere in the world. But her mission doesn't end with the bag. She's hosting retreats, producing concerts, and building an online community centered on creative co-working and access to opportunities. What she's building isn't a business, it's a revolution where female artists can create and showcase their talent without compromise. This is what happens when art meets innovation and music meets mission. This is Scarlet Parke, and this is not another life lesson.
Another one.
Scarlett,
Karine.
this is like really overdue.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes,
But I think all in perfect timing.
exactly. Well, when I met you, you were living in Austin, Texas.
I thought I'd known you much longer than that.
No, I found
It-
you on social media.
Yeah, and then you came to the Dream Girl event.
I did. So, Scarlett, who are you?
I am a fearless, driven, fiery, sassy, sometimes chaotic, but for the greater good, woman who is here to shake things up, be a disruptor, be a force that causes people to wake up and stop being drones in their own life. I'm somebody who's here to make people question the status quo. I am a very old energy that I think has come back around to remind people that there is a lot of life to live and a lot of beautiful places to see and a lot of amazing adventures to have. And you can do all of that with the Dream Girl Producer Bag.
Did you really mean it when you said I was your dream girl?
Tell me what we're looking at and why we're looking at it.
This is the Dream Girl Producer Bag. To my baby, my creation, a fully mobile music studio bag that I designed for girls specifically to help them have safe and inspiring places to create, because music studios traditionally are not always super safe for women. And I know that I really had a lot of music that needed to come out of me, and I never felt safe enough to do it in any studio that I went to. Just judgmental vibes, weirdo vibes, creeper vibes, just there was always a risk. I also love to travel, so it kind of kills two birds with one stone. I'm allowed to be safe and I'm allowed to create wherever I want without any additional studio fees. And the design is very intentional. So it's originally modeled after a camera bag, which is why it has this shape. We've got the weather top flap here to protect from the elements. This part is really fun because it doubles as kind of a desk when you're on the go. So you can put your laptop here. This is still fabric. The newer ones will have a non-slip rubber hard top so that you can actually write on it. You can put a cup of coffee, you can put your laptop, you can put your keyboard, whatever you want on there, and it's just like a flat surface. And when you're traveling, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's hard to find a flat, clean surface.
Absolutely.
So we open her up. You've got this pocket up here for cables, and the bag comes with all the gear you need to make studio quality music anytime, anywhere. These are just the products that I use.
So when you buy the bag, it comes with a few key items that are your sort of like essential, what any on-the-go music producer should have.
Industry standard, honestly. Like you talk to pretty much any producer, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, the Shure SM7B go-to mic. One of Michael Jackson's favorite mics.
Absolutely.
The Scarlett Solo.
Hey.
Just felt very aligned. It's also like the #1 selling interface in the world. Mixing headphones, Audio-Technicas, and then we've got our lifetime cable. So if anything happens to it, you can return it and we'll replace it for free. And in the back, this also comes with the bundle. We have the Akai MPK3 MIDI. So it's really everything you need to create on the go, anytime, anywhere.
One of my favorite things about it is you are very passionate about traveling.
This is the exact dimensions of a personal item, maxed out dimensions. It slides perfectly underneath the seat of an airplane because if I was gonna create a bag for the girls, I had to also acknowledge that the girls don't wanna sacrifice their carry-on. You don't want it to be so big that you have to check it, and usually your purse will just fit right here.
Mine does, yeah.
Yep.
And there's an intentional component inside for your laptop as well. Right?
Yes. So, and then laptop also slides in here. And then also on the bottom, we have rubber feet so that your bag is never on the ground and your gear is always protected.
I love that when I travel with it too, like I put my wallet, my passport, like it is my travel bag.
Yes.
And it fits everything that I need, including music production. Which
That's what this front pocket is for me, which has a special compartment because this is a bag for girls. These two spots here, you would ask a guy and he'd say, it's for pens. It's actually for tampons.
Hey.
Hey. You could put lip gloss in there if you wanted. And then I keep my chapstick, anything that I would need, just kind of like my girly stuff that's like my makeup pouch. And then there's the side pockets that you can also put additional things in. Lots of extra room. Everything is also movable. So this is just Velcro. So if you want to turn it into a day of show bag and put your outfit in here, your makeup.
Bag has converted into a part-time bed for my cat as well. My cat finds the purple velvet to be very welcoming, which is amazing. So I guess what we really want to do is we are here in the middle of Palisades Park in our home of Los Angeles, Santa Monica, and really want to show people how easy it is to set up your mobile studio. And while you set up, I would love to talk a little bit about your absolute favorite place you have traveled with the Dream Girl producer bag.
It's a toss-up between Ibiza and Mexico. Both amazing trips. Ibiza was my first trip with the bag to produce music. And it was heavenly. We were able to record her entire album. We did all the vocals. I engineered the entire project.
No studio.
No studio. Fully with the Dream Girl bag.
Incredible.
Yes.
This past year, you decided to take the Dream Girl bag into a real offline community space and hosted your first ever Dream Girl music retreat in Mexico. I would love if you could share a little bit about that experience and what people can kind of expect from joining into a Dream Girl community, living in this lifestyle that you're creating.
At the time of creation of the Dream Girl bag, I was living on my dad's couch, and my dad was like, you have 3 months to get off my couch and get your life together. And then I prayed and I was asking for guidance, and then I had a dream about the Dream Girl bag, and it was me on a beach with a bunch of girls, and they all had little mini studios, and I was like, I woke up and I was like, what the hell? Like, that would be such a cool concept, right? Then something else in me was just like, go on TikTok. You don't have any time. You need to reach the world. Go on TikTok. The world wants to hear from you. So every single day, post 5 times a day. You have nothing to do. You're living on your dad's couch. See if people even resonate with this. And if not, start applying to jobs. Go get a 9 to 5, bite the bullet. You lost, give up. And it went viral, like mini viral, like not millions, but it went viral. It touched a lot of people, and And I was just talking, I'm like, imagine a world where girls didn't have to go to the studio and they didn't have to be locked in rooms with creepy men, and they could create their own music, and we could travel the world, and we'd all have these little bags, and that would be little studios. And I was just like getting high off my own supply of dreams, you know, and the possibility of things. And literally 7 days later, I had enough money to fund launching the bag.
Incredible.
People were like, where can I buy it? I was like, it doesn't exist. And they were like, well, go make it. And I was like, okay, great. And people pre-ordered it, not knowing me, not knowing when it was gonna come.
Right.
Like,
what was the time frame between like the prototype and like the first order?
I had promised that they would be ready in 3 months. It took 9 months.
Okay, that's fair.
The first manufacturer ended up just being a total, you know, a-hole. And so we had to then switch.
So similar thing happened with bringing these girls to Mexico then. You had envisioned it already.
I had talked about it on social media, and then girls started flooding my DM saying, I know somebody who can do this, I know somebody who can do this. And it just became this very natural community of girls who were like, yeah, like, we need this. Like, why hasn't this been happening? And it was so healing. You know, it changed them, like it healed them. It brought them back to their inner child of when you could just sing and not feel eyes on you. And you gotta come on the next retreat. We're planning
I will absolutely be at the next retreat.
The
Where
next-
are we planning?
We're going to the Amalfi Coast.
Bye.
In September, October. I'm planning it out right now. It is a lot of things in the plans.
All
A lot
the
of things in the plans.
Well, if it's one thing I've learned from talking to you today, it's that whatever's in the plans comes to life. You are someone who does what you say you're gonna do. You are somebody whose visions and purpose and dreams that are all in alignment with your journey and who you are. And as a result, you've been able to connect with like-minded women like myself, like other women who want to create together, who want to connect together and want to use music and travel and just
live life.
live life
Get
together.
back to a place that's like learning how to live in a world where you're just not constantly threatened, judged, exploited.
Exactly.
My algorithm always takes care of me.
I feel the same about mine.
In the last nearly 3 years of my life, I have taken an interest in producing music, and that's not something I ever thought I would do. And as I started becoming more and more interested in that, the algorithm started to understand that. And traditionally speaking, music production specifically is a very male-dominated space.
Yeah.
And I was empowered to do so by another woman who has this mission to empower women to get over what she calls technophobia. And as a result, I was learning more and more that there are so many women who also want to create music.
I think it's a lot more than people would expect, but I think most of us grew up hearing, don't touch the buttons, don't touch that. I have it all set. I don't want you to mess it up. I don't want you to mess it up. And so you go into this field of, I don't want to mess it up. I don't know what I'm doing. Like that's kind of the default setting instead of, oh, a new skill to learn. Like, let me just learn how to do it like any other thing.
Right,
You know?
right. Which is such a empowering place to approach any new skill, whether it's typically male dominated or not. Sometimes starting something later in life from a more empowered place when you know yourself and who you are is actually way more beneficial because you can take that thing so much further when it's in your purpose. That's what I am here to talk to you about because when you came across my feed, I saw a woman who almost immediately I understood was in purpose.
Thank you.
There are so many women out there who have many, many gifts, who are looking for a way to channel that into purpose and power. And I looked to one look at your page and went, oh, she's on a mission.
Girl on a mission, that was my bio for a long time. And I'm still on a mission, forever on a mission, but I feel like I'm more leading a charge than chasing a flag. You know, I feel like I've captured the flag and now it's about getting as many people on the hill as possible. Passion meets purpose is a rare thing, and to have found it is probably the best feeling ever.
It's amazing.
Especially just knowing all the sacrifices it took to get here. I chose chasing this feeling over pretty much anything else because I felt so convinced my entire life that my purpose was the reason. You know, like some people are like, well, my purpose is just to exist. Whereas I felt ever since I was a little kid, like you have to go in the mine and dig out what your purpose is because it's like this beating thing. It's like Jumanji. It was like, come and find me, like, you know, and I think that's where my ambition always came from. It was less of like ambition and it was more of like, I need to just like scratch this itch, like get rid of this nagging voice in my head. Honestly, creating this bag, it was not on my to-do list, but I wouldn't have done it without all of the other things that I had done.
Right.
From being an event planner to being a musician to hating a producer I worked with to loving to travel. Like it was everything that I am in a product.
Right. Tell me about what you've discovered, what it is that you have brought to life, and how did we get here?
Living in LA for the first like 2.5 years, I kind of just hit a dead end, lost a lot of my passion for music, discovered, of course, you know, like how toxic the industry is, how hard it is to be a girl, how much you're supposed to be okay with giving yourself away and exploiting yourself. And I'm like, I just want to bring music back to the time where it felt really good and it made sense, and it doesn't need to be for anybody else. And I think abandoning that part of my ego was a huge part of this bag coming to life, because I had to step away and just be like, well, it turns out I'm not willing to do what I would have to do to become like the biggest star in the world. I'm just not willing to do those things. And the next best thing for me was traveling the world, making music, just creating from the heart and being able to still perform and tour all over the world, you know, but on my own volition, you know. And then I got evicted from my apartment.
Okay. we're gonna need to walk that road a little bit. So
It's a lot.
You're in LA, you're a recording artist.
Yes.
You're making records. At this point, are you producing your own
I'm
records?
dabbling, you know, I've bought my own microphone and my own stuff. I'm going to a lot of songwriting sessions. I got picked up by a major label and they were courting me for a while, and they were like, we need you to do this and this and this and this. And I just was just like, bleh.
Yeah, got an inside look and then wanted to go outside.
I was just like, you guys don't want visionaries, you want puppets. And I'm a visionary.
Ooh.
I went to the store and I bought this like, you know, giant drag wig. And I was like, I'm gonna wear this. This is gonna be part of my online persona. And the manager that I was working with was like, you look cheap and you don't, you know, we're not gonna do that. If you wanna work with us, you're not gonna do that. What is everybody doing right now?
Right, the biggest artist in the world, Chaperone.
Right, and so I was, you know, I think that's always also been something that's been frustrating for me, is being a little bit too early and feeling very isolated in that, because I'm so excited about it. It makes so much sense to me, but like nobody else around me understands it.
Right.
All of these things just kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me to the outside, to the outskirts, to where I was finally like, okay, well, I think that I'm just meant to create something that doesn't exist, because what I'm looking for, I've looked everywhere for and it doesn't exist.
So you physically chose to leave Los Angeles and move
Yes.
to Austin, Texas. Talk to me about why that physical move was so important, and why did you decide now is the time to come back to LA?
I knew that I had a lot of inner work to do, and I love a distraction. And I have always been able to talk my way into any room. I'm invited to the parties, you know, like I can put on a front and like get into the rooms. But I wasn't, when I was in those rooms, I wasn't equipped with the necessary tools and armor that I needed to fully be myself. And I found myself changing my opinions, becoming moldable, wanting to be liked, chasing that validation, listening to the little voice in my head that says, never gonna happen again, you gotta do it now, and if you don't do it now.
This is your one time in
your
this one room!
shot.
And then
Yeah.
you're in the room 10 times in a row and you're like,
Right.
was it really the one time?
And I had already made the Dream Girl bag and it was gaining success, and I was also met with a little bit of resistance, which I respect, because I was such a new producer. They're like, who the fuck are you to make a producer
Sure.
bag? You've been producing for 1 year. But like, that's just kind of how I am. Where like, I see a problem, I want to fix it. And I'm good at that. And so I moved away to gain trust with myself and allow others to view me from afar and gain trust for me as well. Because I think that the thing that this industry is lacking is just trust. And knowing that you're not going to be fucked over, and I have to really believe in what I'm talking about in order to push some sort of product, which I never intended to do. And I honestly hate sales. I've never done
Sure.
sales. I'm like a hospitality girl. So I had to step away and ask myself, is this what I want? Do I still want to do music? I could just make 100 bags and just be done with it, and it was a cute, fun thing that I did.
Right.
Do I want the hassle that's going to come with it? Do I want the headache? Do I have the confidence that I can achieve this, that I can manage this, that I can build this, that I can sustain this? Up until this point in my life, like, I've just been all over the place. I had to really step away, and I felt like Austin was just such a great city because there's a lot of businesses that go there to incubate. They have a lot of resources for small businesses. And if you're an artist who lives in the city, you get free health insurance.
Oh, talk about it. I didn't know. I'm away.
Yeah, so it was just like the perfect city to isolate and like get to know myself.
And you said you got evicted, so the rent ain't bad.
No, yeah, my dad co-signed. Shout out, Dad.
Right, yeah. Been there, done that.
Yeah, well,
times.
It was during COVID. I was like, okay, no more COVID rules. I'm out of here. But the year there was like the best choice I ever made.
Yeah.
I just was able to rest. I mean, I slept for days and days and days and days and days on end. I was able to produce an album just with me in my bag. I was able to explore a new city, make new friends. And the people in Austin are so beautiful and warming and like welcoming. And I had been so hard on myself for so long, and I felt like such a failure for not becoming the star that I wanted to be at a young age.
Right.
That I needed to kind of lick those wounds and like learn to be proud of like what I have done.
I'm the type to rule in your life, but I promise you like it.
What can we expect, and why does it feel different than any other music you've released before?
I think because all of it falls on me. I have nobody else to blame if it's a flop, you know what I mean? But I say this with the most love. I think that my other music never took off because it wasn't enough me. And so I'm scared of it flopping, but also internally like know that it could never flop because it represents such a huge moment of overcoming in my life.
Right.
So just releasing it is the triumph. I know that that'll be the final barrier of fear that I need to work through. The last thing to do is to release the music.
Right.
And it's just a chapter ending, but it's also a new chapter beginning.
Right.
So I'm excited. I'm entering the more excited phase because now I feel like I feel like I know myself so much better, and I'm not scared that I'll fumble.
No.
What good comes from this? And I'm a classic self-sabotager. That was a hard thing to overcome and admit to myself. And I had to really grieve the things that I had fumbled. And I had to grieve the versions of myself that I never allowed to blossom.
Right.
Like there was so much overcoming that had to happen before I could ever get to this point of authenticity or feeling good, being seen for who I really am, despite all my flaws and despite all my trauma. Like my trauma was just a horrible badge of shame that I wore around forever, and I wanted to be the girl who came from a perfect family, and grieving the life that I never had, is you could do that forever. Eventually you have to be like, okay, well great, what am I now? And now I'm Scarlett. I'm a producer, and I'm a creator, I'm an inventor, I'm a CEO.
Hey!
I'm all the things that so many people told me I could never be, and I think
you are.
And
you've stepped in.
I've stepped in.
The culture of consuming and creating art and music is such a juncture where like we're at this crossroads. There's like AI, and then there's authenticity, and there's this battle between like the companies that are trying to make a ton of money off of just replicated art, and then there's all of these people who are like an army for authenticity, and you're obviously like one of the major leaders in that charge, and you're obviously like there's a huge role for you in this. It's a fight.
And the Dream Girl bag and the Dream Girl Club are going to be huge tools and weapons in that fight. Sure, go make a bunch of sync music, and songs that are never going to be performed because AI can't perform. But like, it opens up the door for us to have more human experiences.
Yeah.
For me, the bag represents an opportunity to have something to really leave behind that is very real. And it's like a photo book, but it's your sound memories. And like, sound memories are something I've been kind of thinking about recently, where it's like, you can just create pure nostalgia,
It's really a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it just gives you the opportunity to take yourself as an artist more seriously. Like, being an artist is a serious thing. Creativity is the one thing that separates us from the other animals. Like, we get to do this, and we should be doing it more. I hope more people get to experience it.
First of all, I love that for you. And I also love that for our listeners. I make this show, it's called Not Another Life Lesson. And it's really for the multi-passionate creative entrepreneur, artist. I mean, people who have so many lanes. We live in a society and a world that really wants you to define exactly what you're going to do from a really young age. Like, you're literally 3 and everyone's like, what are you going to be when you grow up? And it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm just pooping in my pants. Like,
I saw that there's like new baby toys and it's just like office supplies.
Like, let's relax. And
okay, guys.
Yeah, let's calm down. And so one of the things I've come to learn that's helped me in my journey as a multi-passionate creative is you cannot speed up unless you slow down.
Yeah.
You cannot go out truly as who you are on passion alone.
Yeah.
Without going in.
The thing about passion is that passion will lead you in the wrong direction. Passion always feels good. Passion is great. I love passion. I'm a passionate woman, obviously. Mexican, Italian, hey. But if it's not tied to a purpose, you'll end up alone in the desert, chasing a piece of trash, a shiny piece of trash in the middle of the desert. I wrote a whole piece on this because this was something that I was doing. This is what a lot of artists do, is we chase a shiny piece of trash in the middle of the desert, thinking that it's worth something, thinking that it's gonna appease us. And you get there and you're exhausted, you're tired, you're dehydrated. You haven't taken a second to ask, why am I going this direction? Because you might have walked by a coliseum waiting to bring you in as the queen. I stumbled upon this thing that fulfills both and that is possible. I wasn't sure if it was possible. My family told me I was crazy. Like, I've had people tell me I'm crazy the entire time. You're gonna launch a business, you're too old for this. You need to find some stability. You need to find this. And I'm like, my stability, I have been very stably chasing the same thing for the last 10 years, you know?
Right.
That has been my consistency and my stability. Like, some people are gonna probably cringe at this and then say it's the wrong thing to do, but I haven't put too much emphasis on the traditional forms of stability because my life was always going to be unstable until I found what I was supposed to be doing. Oof. I was never gonna feel like I had my 2 feet on the ground.
Right.
Until I found this.
Yeah.
And now that I do, yes, now I'm concerned with all the other things. Yes, you know what? Maybe I would like to meet someone and fall in love. I have to be better with my finances. Like,
sure.
You know, all these things. I have to grow up. I have to start taking care of all the other things that to me were meaningless before I found what I was doing.
Well, you'll resent them really quickly, right? If you're not driven by a deeper knowing and by a purpose, you will do all of those things to appease other people, to appease like the part of you, that the voice that's saying, I should. And you should do those things, like you said, if you want to. You know, you shouldn't stop yourself from doing those things. But there's something really powerful about really knowing why you're doing those things. Like, financial stability is going to support your ability to invest in your purpose and your business, in your music, in your bag. Or if you're in a relationship, coming at that relationship from a place of knowing, this is who I am, this is what I come with, this is what I'm doing. Do you add to that?
Exactly.
Or are you going to subtract?
And you know what's so funny is that I have suffered from depression my entire life. Just horrible. I mean, I have OCD. I take medication for OCD. You know, shout out to all my mentally ill girls. Hey. The spicy, neurospacey girls, where you at?
Right here.
That's me.
Right here on the
Hey,
Not
girl.
Another Life Lesson couch.
Yes, we are here. I'm here. We're all here together. Now, I'm happy to, I start a serving job next month. I'm happy to go work a little job because I know what it's going towards. Whereas before, I'm like, I don't want to do that because what am I even putting my money towards?
Is it taking away from my music? Is it taking away from my, right.
Well, and also music was so unsustainable anyways.
Right.
Like, that it was like, you would work just to make a song. Like, there was no guarantee, and so it felt very fruitless to me, you know. And so now I have a quantifiable thing that I can build up and I can nurture, and it will grow, and it's impacting others. It's checking all these boxes where I'm no longer like viewing getting a side job as, oh, I'm losing, I'm failing, I'm a loser.
Absolutely.
I'm doing what I need to do to support my purpose and my passion. If you are purposeless, it's gonna die out. It's a flame that dies. And then you're just working at a job when you have nothing that you're working towards. And that's when you run into bad news.
You alluded to it, so let's talk about it. I use the word multi-passionate creatives because it's all encompassing, but neurodivergence is the Venn diagram between neurodivergent folks and creative folks and entrepreneurs is so big, and that intersection cannot be ignored. You mentioned OCD. I know you have ADHD as well. We share that.
Yeah, so I've been diagnosed ADHD and OCD, emphasis big on the O, big on the obsessive thoughts. struggled so hard when I was younger. I was really hard to keep friends. I would have just obsess over things. I would say something and I would think about it for weeks and be like, all right, did they hate me? Like, are they still thinking? It's like, nobody's thinking about it. You know, I know that now it's like not a rational thought, but when I was younger, I would drive people crazy and I wouldn't understand. And then I was a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, are you mad at me? Are you mad at me? Like I was that girl, which, sorry, everyone. I was undiagnosed OCD and I was struggling. I was fighting for my life mentally. And yeah, thankfully I've like found the best medication that makes me feel like my best self and have overcome that. I still struggle with the fact that I have to take medication. Of course, like I fucking hate that. I'm on the right track though, where I will be able to get off of it once I am in that stable place. Because I think that having a routine has helped a lot. And before, like I said, I was just kind of all over the place because that's what fed my ADHD.
Right.
But it also made me so manic with my OCD because I'm like, it was like.
It's a really strong comorbidity and it gets overlooked often because in theory, those two things should conflict each other. Like ADHD is a disorder of like impulsivity and OCD is like compulsivity, and those two things fight against each other. So talk to me a little bit about the moment I need to look at what this is, and what was that process like for you?
After going through a specific breakup that I just could not get over, my friends were scared. They were like, girl, it's been too long. Like, I think something might be wrong with you. And I'm like, I feel like there is something wrong with me. You're right. But I don't, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's who I am. It's how I am. I can't help my brain. You think I don't want these thoughts to not be here? Like, I do not want to be thinking these thoughts. I'm sick of it. You're sick of it. We're all sick of it. And my dear friend, who at the time was working in mental health, she was like, I just think you need to go talk to somebody about it. You need to be really brutally honest with them. Like, I love you and I'm still your friend and I'm here, but like, I can't listen to you talk about this anymore.
How old were you?
Probably like 23.
Okay.
I started taking an antidepressant when I was like 18,
okay,
which leveled me out.
Right.
But I was still just psychotic. When something would go wrong,
right,
I would obsess over it in a super unhealthy way, and then I would drink, and it was just like I couldn't seem to like get to an even place, and it was so toxic and just. I mean, that was just my friends used to call me the Tasmanian devil because I would just out of nowhere just fucking spiral.
Shout out to the good friends.
Shout out to my good friends.
The ones that
shout out
say
Katie,
like,
shout out Molly.
Hey girl,
yeah,
like,
shout out me,
we love you, something ain't right.
Well, because like, I'm great. I'm a good time, I like to have a lot of fun. I'm a good friend. But when I go down, I go down hard. Right. And I'm so grateful to be in a space now where my friends and I can laugh about it, and they're like, "Girl, you were so fucking crazy," and I'm just like, "Hey, they're like, thank you, I never went to jail. I never caused any real damage. It was just damage to myself. But it does get better. Like, there is hope. So anybody watching this that's like struggling or you have obsessive thoughts, like the good news about that is that you can use those obsessive thoughts to do amazing things. Spiral upwards. Don't spiral downwards. Like, if you can, like, try to find something to obsess about that is going to like make you better and make you amazing. And I know how hard it is that it's like sometimes can be physically impossible to pivot. Like you'll literally like get stuck, like one of those robot dogs on their back. You're like, I'm helpless. So first find help, talk to a licensed professional.
Yep.
They are there to help you. Make sure you get on the right medication. Make sure you tell your friends you're getting on medication. That way they can monitor your changes. One of my friends just recently started, and he let me know. He's like, keep an eye on me. I checked in, and it was nice. And now he's doing amazing, and I'm so happy for him. Yeah, and it's not going to be forever. It's not going to change who you are. It's you're going to make adjustments. You're going to learn new parts of yourself that you were never able to pay attention to before because you were so busy tending to your illness.
There's so many. Thank you, first of all, for sharing all of that.
I'm glad I'm at a place where I can talk about it now because I was buried in shame for years about how my brain worked.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to get over. And because it's just like, I would do things and I'm like, why did you do that?
Why did you do it?
Why did you do that?
Coming from the ADHD tribe, most of the women that I know now, the ones that I work with, the ones that I talk to, they're very late diagnosed. We're talking, you said 23 for your OCD diagnosis. They're talking early, mid-20s. And some, I've met women 40s, 50s, 60s
Yeah.
who are just figuring it out now. Maybe their kids are going through diagnosis and they're like, light bulb. And I was diagnosed at 17 years old. Spent 10 years resisting medication. Had prescriptions, maybe distributed a few here and there to others who said they needed it more than I
It's a hard pill
did.
to swallow that you need medication.
And people ask me this all the time. Will you be less creative? Will you be less interesting? Yeah, I have all these creative thoughts and all these creative ambitions and all this really fun stuff about me, and I'm super outgoing, but it doesn't have anywhere to land because it's so distracted by like all of these things that are really making it difficult for me to optimize those things as a superpower. And I can take those things and turn them into something powerful.
Yeah.
But I can't do that, one, on my own, and two, without help, whether it's medication, whether it's just psychological intervention, whether it's coaching, whatever step you need to take to not be climbing that mountain on your own. And I'm so happy for you that you had great friends.
Yeah, I have great friends.
You know, you don't want your friends to be your therapist, but your friends can then take on a complementary role when you're getting that help, where then you can say like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you guys could look out.
Because when you're in it, when you start taking medication, you can be unaware, but other people who know you really well might be able to pinpoint a warning sign early, because if sometimes there are medications. I remember I took, I think it was like Zoloft or something.
Oh, Zoloft sent me down a spiral. I went to the hospital.
I mean, Zoloft like had me wanting to like run around naked in the street.
Man, girl, I had
like,
a problem. Wait, sorry, Zoloft, but
This
yeah, I
is
had
not
a problem.
good,
Yeah.
not good. Yeah, but I had friends who were like, okay, look, this isn't working. You need to call your doctor tomorrow.
Right.
And it's like, okay, good, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
guide me, you know.
So, okay, that was 23. You've come to this place, you've gone through this mission towards purpose, you've isolated yourself. Talk to me about flipping your sword and using your brain that you used to resent or that you used to be ashamed of. And how does that brain now fuel what you do as an artist, as an entrepreneur, all of it?
At this point in my life, the sword is always going to be aimed at everything else but me. I do not and will not die on a sword for anything. I will always try to like use the things that used to hurt me for other purposes. Like being super excited and hyperactive. It used to drive people nuts and it used to make me really embarrassed, and I'd be like, you're too much energy and da-da-da-da. I now have funneled that into being a great event host. I can amp up a crowd and I can get everybody in the room like vibing and excited. And now I know to reserve that energy for that. The other thing was being super nitpicky about things. And when I would work over the shoulder of the other producers that I would work with, I'd be like, oh, well, I want this. It used to drive them nuts. Now I'm a great sound engineer and music producer.
I would love you to walk me through your mixing philosophy and like, what is it that you're looking for? What are you hearing? What is it that can make people understand that music is not just about technology, it's about feeling? Like, what's your kind of secret sauce?
When I was going back and learning about music production, I went all the way back to the basics, to sound healing and frequencies. I started reading books, basically like the textbook on sound healing. And one thing that I found really, really interesting is that our bodies require a full range of frequencies, just like they require a full range of vitamins. And so when you have too many of one, you can overdose on a frequency. And you can overdose on a vitamin, you can overdose, and you'll feel bad. And when I'm mixing and when I'm creating a track, I want to make sure that my listener has a full range of frequency vitamins. Like I'm giving them, things to feel in their feet all the way up to their hips, all the way up to their chest, all the way up through their neck and through their head. And it matches when you look at an EQ, it's all the way from the bottom and goes all the way up to the very top. So it's the low frequencies, the low sounds, the bass, the kick drum. It's the mid frequencies, it's the vocals, it's the keys, it's the synths and things like that. And then you move into these higher frequencies, and specifically like the very high frequencies like bells and triangles and textures and patterns and noise machines and these kinds of atmospheric elements that I think a lot of people will forget to add in, but are so important to the health of your song and to the health of your body receiving it. For lack of a better example, like a lot of hip hop, it's missing a lot of frequencies. It's missing, sometimes it's just that 808, 808, 808, 808. And when you listen to that all day, every day, like you're not gonna feel
Not like a healthy balance.
fulfilled. Yeah, you're not eating a healthy, balanced diet of frequencies. And so when I'm mixing and I'm making a song, I want my listener to feel fed afterwards and full.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
So that's kind of how I look at it, and something that sound healing taught me, in the science of sound healing and how it affects our body. And when you live in a city specifically, like you're getting all of these frequencies that aren't natural. So I think what you listen to outside of that is very important. you're just more agitated and things like when you're in the city, and that's because your body, your chakras, your frequency levels, your vitamins, your sound vitamins they're not balanced. They're imbalanced, and you have to listen to that. Like, do you have a headache? Like, maybe try specific frequencies you can look up that'll help alleviate those things. And it does work. Sound healing is very effective. It's a lost art, and it's a lost method of living and maintaining our health and our
For sure. I mean, everything that we consume and everything that we sense and feel affects us. A lot of people don't hear in music necessarily, like there are frequencies you can't hear that it's in there.
Yeah.
But if it was removed,
you would feel the difference.
You would feel the
It would feel flat. It would feel empty, and you can't always put your finger on why. But when you learn how to mix and see the chart and see the song as a full spectrum, you can then see where your song is falling short.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I definitely know that when I'm listening to Scarlett, I'm in a healthy diet of sound frequencies.
It's like, how can the things that used to hurt me, how can they help me? And usually it's you're surrounded by the wrong people. I also stopped taking advice from anyone unless I really admire their life and admire the relationships that they have,
including my own family members, which drives them crazy. I'm the first person to really chase their dreams in my family, which has been really hard. But also now that I've pushed through that wall, I'm entering the rewarding side of that. Started to have all of these things happen, and the bag is going great, and I ended up running into just a lot of self-worth, shame around, I don't even know what. It was I had a fear of being seen that I didn't really know about, because hello, I love being seen and I love performing and I love all these things.
So you didn't recognize that it was a fear of being seen?
I didn't, and so identifying that was really cool.
How does one who loves to perform arrive at the conclusion that they're afraid of being seen? What does that mean?
I was afraid of people knowing me deeply. So I guess I was okay with being seen, I was scared of being known.
Ooh.
Which I'm doing much better with, but just the expectations that I had for myself, and how I still felt guilty about how I acted in my earlier years, but it's having grace with yourself. I was because I was unmedicated and I was figuring a lot of stuff out. I had a lot of fear that if I was to become massively successful, are there horror stories that are going to come up about me? Maybe. Not that I ever did anything crazy, I just had to process all of that.
Right.
And I had to accept it first, knowing and preparing myself for the journey of becoming known, because that is where I'm headed, which I'm very grateful for.
Some people are just born to be known.
I'm born to be known, but I wasn't ready. And so I self-sabotaged a lot, and I never knew why. It was because I didn't think that people would really like me if they knew me.
Right. I had a mentor also in the music space, incredible man by the name of Nick Cooper. He's one of the biggest vocal coaches in the world, but more so than being a vocal coach, he's really a transformation coach. He works with these artists to go through exactly the process that you are talking about. And I think it's really common with performers, right? Because it's still a version of us, but you are becoming what you believe people want to see from a performer, whether that's on stage or in a record or in a film or even as a talk show host. If I want to be Oprah, what do I look like? How do I sound?
Right. It's constructed.
Right.
It's manufactured.
You cannot be comfortable being known if you don't know yourself. One of the best things he ever said to me, and I honestly genuinely walked out of his office that day and I actually took 2 weeks off because I couldn't stop thinking about it.
What?
It was so simple, but it wasn't. It pierced me right through the heart. He said, Karine, the moment you stop judging other people, you will stop judging yourself. And the moment you stop judging yourself, you will stop judging other people. Because what I was judging was not them. It was what I thought they thought of me.
Right.
It's this feedback loop of I'm not willing to get to know myself past what I think others are thinking of me. And so I'm using that as a wall. And I'm not willing to go deeper because I'm scared. As soon as I meet her, they'll meet her. If I don't like her, how can they like her?
Yeah. It's hard as a super self-critical person to fathom that not everybody is thinking bad thoughts all the time.
Yes, especially with your disposition, as you talked about.
Yeah, as much as I would have these negative thoughts, I was oh my God, I just assumed that everybody was thinking those things. And so now moving into the position of everybody is just getting by and everybody just wants to be accepted and everybody just wants to be loved, and that's also just what I want. And if I can just do that, it'll overshadow anything else that I do. We all have negative traits, and like some of that, but like people are willing to put up with negative stuff as long as like you are more so willing to show up for them. The power of being vulnerable, I still haven't really mastered this. I'm conquering this fear live right now.
Amen.
I wrote this song that I like don't want to release. I'm so scared to release it. It's called Mama. It's like the most vulnerable song I've ever written. It's about my mom's suicide attempt through opioid addiction, and the moment my whole life changed, you know. It was like the darkest day of my life, really. And, you know, cops came. I was the one who had to put her in jail. And it was just like straight out of a horror movie. And I had just lived with it. And that was one of the most shameful things about me, because it projected onto everything and everyone in my life at all times.
How old were you?
16.
It's a really defining time.
Yeah. And
the leg hairs and the arm hairs never lie. And I'm Egyptian, so I'm very hairy, and they are all the way up.
It changed my life. Like, it was the defining moment in my adolescence. That just it scarred me for life. Like, I still have a hard time believing that when somebody says they're okay, that they're okay. I have a hard time believing that good things can last. You know, I have a hard time believing in relationship stability, and, you know, just to watch somebody go through addiction like that and change completely, like she was not herself, it makes you question if anything is real, you know? And so that's something that I've like just, struggled not to be upset about. Once I was like, okay, I can separate and distance myself. I can see my mom as just a human with her own struggles, and I went through all this therapy, and her and I are fine, and she's alive, and everything is good. You know, now to be at that point where am I ready to really share about that, because it is such a big part of my life and shaped who I am and why I operate, how I operate. Like, the final step to that healing process is to share the story. And I wrote this song that is just like heart-wrenchingly haunting and beautiful, and it's anybody who hears it is like, Scarlett, this is like,
this is the one.
This is the one. But it's also the one I don't want to share. That was also, though, like one of the moments I knew I needed to make the bag, because I didn't have the bag yet. It was just, I had a little camera bag, was staying at a cabin in the woods with no Wi-Fi, and I was able to just get this song out of me without anybody there for miles. I was able to confront the ugliest monster in my closet when it was just me. I would have never been able, I needed it too. Like, I wept while I made it. It healed a part of me, and I would have never been able to record that had I not been alone in the woods with nobody for miles to hear me sing, to hear me cry, to hear me grieve, like this experience that I had just tried so long to just like suppress.
What are you most afraid will happen, either when the song is released or when this story opens to the world?
For a long time, I was scared of what my family's reaction would be. They hate when I talk about any kind of trauma or anything like that.
Shout out to the generation above us, eh? They just buried it all. They just buried it all.
Well, and I recently just blocked the family member who was always in my DMs, just being like, you shouldn't be sharing this. And she, as soon as I blocked her, that nagging voice in my head went away. God bless. I was like, it was you.
Isn't it funny how all the bad voices are just collections of the voices that have told us the limiting things?
Yeah. And now my fear is just, you know, it's like standing naked in front of the world. Like, it's something that I struggled with my whole life, and to let people know that I was in that much pain, I think is just like hard for me as like such a strong woman. It's hard. I'm the friend that doesn't usually ask for help, and just all of that. So to like share a song where you can hear in the recording, like, it's a very dark, deep song, you know? It's like one of those songs that anybody who hears it and has experiencing something similar, like, it's made the majority of people who listen to it cry. Like, it brings you there instantly. And so it's also, I'm scared to share it, because then it's also, I have to relive it. I'm scared to relive it over and over again. I'm scared to not be able to have enough space to hold other people's stories and come off as, you know, insensitive or something, you know. So there's just a lot of things. But it's a big topic, and and I think my purpose with music has always been to transmute it into, you know, my pain into power. And
The fact that you've articulated this experience as the intersection of your true artistry, right? Because at the end of the day, artistry is expression of our emotional truth, and the thing that is allowing you to claim your artistry as your own. I can imagine the level of pressure that putting this out feels like, because that's a lot of importance on it.
It's a lot. It's everything.
It's a
like,
culmination.
Yeah.
I do think that you acknowledge the fear, but you will know the time.
Yeah.
Might be now. I don't know. Might be now. Might be on this episode. No.
I'm trying to feel it out. I just need to start releasing, and then obviously that can't be my first release.
Right.
So I've got, now that I've found my footing as a producer and my sound, and that's also why I've been so stressed and haven't released anything, because I'm like, I want it to be great. It's a product of my product,
Sure.
It's a representation that you can make great music anywhere in the world at any time, and you can bring something really beautiful to life on your own. And so I've been trying to make it worth the wait.
I understand. A major obstacle that I encounter with a lot of creatives and neurodivergents is this sort of drive towards perfectionism and combating that. I want to talk a little bit about what you do to surrender away from perfectionism. I know that you're in an active place of working towards releasing music. You obviously have this incredible product that was launched and you overcame that hurdle. How are you applying what you learned through the bag to get there, and how close are we to hearing a record from Scarlet Parke?
Great question. I am thinking also just about dropping Parke and just going by Scarlet.
Ooh, love it.
I'm not identifying with Parke. I think I'm just going to come out strong with just Scarlet.
Okay.
I have, of course, struggled. I'm a Virgo moon, so perfectionism is who is me at my core. But I've learned that I need to just make things perfectly me and not perfectly anybody else. I've mimicked and tried to copy people forever. And that's, I think, a great way to learn and a great way to figure out what feels good to you. Production has helped me a lot with my perfectionism because I want to create multiple kinds of music. I like to create hip hop and pop and EDM kind of music, but I don't like performing it. And so when I released a pop album, I was like, the songs sound good, but I was kind of like, I don't want to be the one singing them. Now I get to make things, and as many things as I want, and I don't have to perform them. And that's perfect for me. Now I can be the one in control, which has helped me a lot with my perfectionism, because I think perfectionism it's just wanting full control. And I can fine tune everything, and I can make it as close to what I'm hearing in my head as possible. And that has scratched an itch for me like no other. I know now when the song is done.
I was just about to ask, because a lot of artists really struggle with this.
They need to then learn how to produce and control their music, because trying to work with a producer when you have a sound and you know exactly what you want, I mean, it's like trying to tell a painter how to paint when he has a blindfold on. Like, you're never gonna get it exactly. Like, you gotta pick up the paintbrush and you have to do it. Because not all artists are producers, but if you are an over-the-shoulder artist to your producer, learn how to produce. Do everyone a service and stop being annoying. And then the studio session, you're welcome and you're allowed to be an equal, but you need to go get the chops up, get the lingo, understand what you're saying, and stop frustrating everybody, including yourself.
Amen.
Because I know now I know when my songs are done, but I had to learn mixing, I had to learn production, I had to learn sound design, I had to learn all of it, because I knew exactly what I wanted it to sound like. And I would get so upset when I would go pay for a service and it would come back and I'd be like, oh, this isn't it. But I knew what I wanted. So at the end I was like, these people are doing what I'm paying them for. I'm just being difficult because I know what I want.
You have a vision.
And knowing what you want is not a crime.
Amazing. Okay, well, we are...
So I say, perfectionists, keep going.
Keep going. Exactly. But before we wrap this segment, what is your mission?
Trust yourself. Believe in the vision. Believe in the crazy thoughts that you get. Trust the signs. Trust your vision. Ask God for guidance. Ask whatever you believe in. There is guidance waiting for you. You have to ask for it, though. You can't figure anything out completely by yourself. And why would you want to when there's already so much information and energy floating around there that's just waiting to help you? But if you're closed-minded and you've got your blinders on, you are going to continue to wander and only be able to access the knowledge that you've acquired in this lifetime, which is very limited for all of us. Everything's already been lived before. Everything's already been thought before. The things that want to come to life are just looking for a vessel to come to life in, and believe that you can be the one to change the world. Never stop believing that. Don't stop.
Amen. Amen.
We have talked a lot about the business side of you,
Yes.
and we've talked about the artist side of you, but I want to share the artist side of you. Tell us a little bit about you're gonna
Yes.
record a song live. Tell us about the song.
Yes. It's either going to be called Most Wanted or Stolen Tiffany. I haven't decided yet. But this song is about the feeling of being undiscovered. Everybody's looking for me, but they don't know that I'm right here. I'm the most wanted criminal or the most wanted fugitive, but I'm standing right next to you, and you just have to look. It's not from a place of, oh, nobody knows me, I'm undiscovered, poor me. It's, I'm a hidden gem. I'm just waiting for the world to notice.
You sure are.
Live from the Pacific Palisades, I'm Scarlett, and this is Stolen Tiffany. Smoking cigarettes, yeah, I'm sick of it. No, I said I'd quit, that's irrelevant. Cause I'm in the pits, tryna make a hit, tryna take a dip in the possibilities of what's meant to be. Sick of chasing dreams, they should chase me like a stolen Tiffany. Call the CIA, call me OJ, cause I'm still flying down the highway, most wanted in a flyway. Most wanted. I know you want it. Most wanted. I know you want it. I know you want it. Marilyn or Amy, they knew who they were just like me. I can't be bothered. Blame it on my father. I've got personality. Most of these girls ain't like me. Give me a chance and I'll do my dance, and we're all gonna make some money. Most wanted, I know you want it. Oh, most wanted, I know you want it. Thank you so much. Not another life lesson for having me. And until next time, that's all.
Beautiful.
That was great.
So good. What a take.